going on, guys? Welcome to Super Basketball Bros Raptors Corner. I'm joined with the bros, Shrey and Dan.
What up, guys?
We got a couple topics we're going to talk about. The loss against the Bulls, the trade deadline, the quiet trade deadline, and our second half predictions for the Toronto Raptors. So let's just jump into it with the last game the Raptors played, and that was against Chicago Bulls, and they lost 116 to 106. Raptors now sit in second place, still in second place, 35 and 18 behind the Cavaliers. Terrible loss in my opinion. They gotta beat a team like Chicago. No excuses. Shrey, what do you think?
Yeah, terrible loss to a Chicago team that doesn't even have its starting five on the floor. So tough loss. They don't have Jimmy Butler, they don't have Mirotic, and they don't have Noah. So that's something the Raptors should have taken advantage of. Tough loss, but I'll give them a pass. It's the first game from the All-Star break. DeMar and Lowry had some time to celebrate. You know, now it's time to just buckle down and make that big playoff push. All right, for that, I think for the home court advantage, I think that's what everybody wants.
Well, if you want to make that big playoff push, you gotta beat teams like Chicago. I'm not giving them a pass. Dan, you?
Well, yeah, you know, we've lost 7 in a row to these guys prior to yesterday's game, and you know, on the back of those players' minds, we had to win this game. They were a depleted roster. This was a great opportunity to finally put that behind us and move forward. We gave it up. We were, up by 7, 8 points at halftime, and then we lose by 10. Like, I don't know. Very disappointing second half there.
I'm super disappointed. I'm a big fan of Doug McDermott. I think he showed out. But players like Terrence Ross have got to step it up. We've been supporting him so far in the last month. We've said, you know what, Terrence, we're sorry for being so harsh on you. But he played terrible. Defensively, he was a huge liability. And DeRozan was not shooting the ball well today. The last game, man. I know I'm wearing the All-Star jersey, but sorry, DeMar, I got to call you out.
Yeah, like I said, maybe DeMar and T. Ross were out celebrating a little later than expected. So hopefully next game against the Grizzlies, they step it up. The defense was really bad. So that's something they definitely have to work on for their next game.
And by the way, guys, just want to let you guys know, I know these guys are wearing All-Star uniforms. There wasn't a third All-Star in the game, but I'm representing the playoff shirt, all right? The free playoff shirt. All right, I just want to give a shout out right there. I know you guys are wondering why these guys are wearing All-Star uniforms, but
he's in playoff mode right now. That shirt that we got in the stands, he's representing that. And I just want to jump back on Shrey. Terrence Ross has nothing to celebrate about. Nothing. What's he celebrating? Mediocrity?
Hey, we have to celebrate the Raptors being in the second spot. He's got something to celebrate. I think all of Toronto has something to celebrate.
Except Terrence Ross.
Yeah, 1 for 6 on a big game like that, I don't think so.
No. Wow. Shout out to JV showing out and Kyle Lowry putting the team on his back. DeMar, you can't score 20 points on 22 shots. That's the DeMar from years ago that we believe doesn't deserve a max contract. Yeah. But again, once again, you can't let one game dictate what kind of contract you get. Still, screw you, Terrence Ross.
Wow, after one game.
Wow. I'm gonna
contradicting
what was he doing during the All-Star break? Come on, man. He was practicing those free throws, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, next topic I'm going to jump into is the trade deadline. A quiet trade deadline. Some Raptor fans pissed off at Masai, but Masai has always been known as a very patient GM. He likes to analyze the team. He's had quite a bit of time to look at it and see what moves he can do, and he made no moves. Some are happy, some are upset about it. Shrey, who are you?
I'm a little upset after last year's first round playoff exit. That was tough to take, especially with you guys already poking holes on with the Raptors bench with Terrence Ross's play. I definitely thought the Raptors needed to solidify that bench role with maybe another wing player, someone who could play the 4 as well. There were a few names the Raptors were connected to, Taj Gibson, Markieff Morris, and I believe Thaddeus Young was another one. Yeah. So it's a little disappointing with the assets we had, which included four first-round picks in the next 2 years, and Pete Pat's contract, which a lot of teams really wanted. So it looked like the Raptors could have pulled the trigger, but I think Ujiri decided to stand pat.
I'm not going to get into it yet. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to be with the same side on Shrey. I was a little disappointed. We have DeRozan coming into a contract year, and if we don't make it past the first round here, I don't know if he's going to stay. This was a year that we had to make it go maybe to the Eastern Conference Finals. So, you know, are we good with the team we have right now, and are they capable of going that far? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe Carroll, when he comes back from injury, maybe he can give us the additional boost we need. But for now, you know, if he's not coming back for playoffs, I'm not really too pleased with what we have right now.
So Both you guys kind of upset about the whole trade deadline. I'm okay with it because if the Raptors made a move, it would have been for P.J. Tucker, Markieff Morris, Thaddeus Young. And to me, all these moves are lateral moves. Patterson, Young, sure Young's a little bit better, but it doesn't put you over the top in my opinion. If you got to make a move, you got to go after a Horford, you got to go after a Gasol, even a Millsap. That's what's going to put the Raptors in that contender picture. And they couldn't do that in the trade deadline because the asking price was very high. The new salary cap's coming up. Teams are kind of a little bit nervous on what's going to happen. They haven't expected something like this before. And Masai knows that his draft picks are worth a lot when it comes to the draft. I can see Masai making big moves at the draft, and I think that's the right time to do it. Like Dan was saying, we got Damari Carroll coming back, and that's kind of our trade deadline.
But wait. Didn't Ujiri just promise that the Raptors are going to be championship material at some point? He said they're going to make the championship.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you want to go out and make a big splash? I kind of disagree with you saying that Thaddeus Young wouldn't be someone that would help the Raptors. I think he would definitely help them with rebounding at the number 4 spot. If Patrick Patterson's so good, why isn't he starting? That's the question I have. If he's so valuable to the Raptors and Ujiri, give him the starting gig. He's shown that he can produce in that role, but he struggled, and I'll give you that much. I really thought the Raptors should have made a splash, whether it was Young or anybody at the 4 spot or the wing spot. Like
I said, I agree to disagree. I think it's still a lateral move. It's a little bit better, but that and the whole starting thing is not Ujiri's role to tell who starts or not. That's Casey. If he doesn't want to start Patterson and if he wants to bench Terrence Ross, do whatever you got to do, right? Do you guys want to add anything to that? I still think this draft that's coming up is going to be big moves for the Raptors. Ujiri hinted to it on a radio show recently, saying that's kind of going to be a time to dictate what the Raptors are going to do because it's going to be after the playoffs. We're going to see how they performed and then evaluate it. And we have so many assets at that time.
That's right.
Yeah, I would just like to add, I'm disappointed. I thought the Raptors probably could have even gone after Jared Dudley of the Wizards, who pretty much towards the end of the deadline acquired Markieff Morris for, I would say, next to nothing. 2 expiring contracts in the first round pick to Washington is really nothing. A team that's going all in, I respect that team a little bit more. The Raptors standing pat for another year. It's the same story. It's the same story every year. We have the team that can make it deep into the playoffs. That's what they said last year, and look what happened.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of worried about. Any injury right now to our big 3 guys, JV, DeRozan, or Lowry. I think we're pretty much back to square one, and I think we really needed to go for a big guy like Markieff Morris. Great trade for the Wizards right there. We could have had it.
I don't know about Markieff per se. I would have thrown P-Pat and a couple first rounders probably for Thaddeus Young. I don't know what we would have gone back in return for that amount, but Thaddeus Young I really thought would have been a really good fit for the Toronto Raptors.
First rounders are valuable, and Brooklyn probably couldn't do that trade because they didn't have a GM for most of the trade deadline. And I still think there are a lot of moves, but we'll agree to disagree here. And I'm going to jump into the last topic: predictions for the second half. They started off pretty bad. The second half, they lost to the Bulls. Yeah. So Shrey, what do you think?
They played well throughout the season. Obviously, tough losses to the Bulls. Each time they were actually leading going into the 4th, if not the second half, and they blew it. Against the Bulls, mind you. Yeah. So I really think there's a lot to work on, but I still see the Raptors being a top 3 team. They're currently 2nd in the East. They're playing 70% of their remaining games are against teams 500 and up. So it's going to be much tougher to end the season. But I really think the Raptors are up for it, and I still see them finishing in the top 3.
You heard it here from the statistician. Next remaining games, 70% of them are above 500 teams. So I say top 5 finish, maybe face Celtics in the playoffs, something like that. What do you say, Dan?
I say it's 2nd or 3rd place. I don't think we're going to catch the Cavs, but we've got 17 of the next 29 games at home. We haven't lost a game at home since January 3rd, so I think we're going to have a nice, decent record, and I think we'll finish 2nd or 3rd.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think the Raptors did the right thing in the trade deadline? Do you think they missed out on a big player? Do you feel like the Bulls win is being blown up by myself, or is it, like Trey said, just coming back from All-Star break? Let us know in the comments below. Hope you guys subscribe and like the video. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll provide the links in the description. And we'll end off this video with play of the week.
Yeah, we'll call it the play of the week.
We'll say Patterson dunking on Taj Gibson. And thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Super Basketball Bros.
Put the ball to Lowry. He's down the lane, shovels. Oh, Bobby Portis could have